Oh, welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, it's time to start using the Comfrey. Cabbages love Comfrey. Somebody does really recommend using Comfrey on your cabbages, especially for the giant ones. So I always do feed them. I've just noticed that the rain that we've had, it's the cabbages took up a lot of water and it split all the stem. But that's the only trouble when we have a dry period and then we have some rain. But we normally use Comfrey on our fruiting crops. So we've got some strawberries out here, and I've noticed already that the birds have taken all the ripe ones. Little devils. I'm just hoping that as more food becomes available, that the birds, especially the blackbirds, find other sources of food. Now we've had a drop of rain, I'm going to give all my fruiting crops a little bit of Comfrey. 1 to 20 is normally a few glugs, 1 to 40 is a little bit less. Tomatoes probably only want 1 to 40, as this is a concentrate. Oh god, that's a big weed. Just make sure I'm not pulling any raspberries out. I'm going to have to leave that. Need me gloves. Nothing wrong with giving all of these plants a nitrogen feed like nettles or anything like that as they start to grow, but these are starting to form the flower heads now. Can't believe how the rhubarb looks. Absolutely massive. Looks like I've got to do a few more crumbles and mix that with some of the berries I've got in the freezer. I'm probably 2 or 3 weeks late doing this. Because the fruits are well formed now, but better late than not at all. Don't need a lot, especially how much fruit I've been getting in the past. I think you know yourself how much to give them from experience. Just noticed I've got something dying off there. Don't know why. That needs cutting back, but I have got to do a summer prune just to tidy everything up. Any of these that I can push behind the strops. I want to grow uphill. I've noticed that it's grown out the top, but at least the birds can have those berries. But it's well worth protecting your black, red and white currants and gooseberries. I've had people before say to me, I've had all my gooseberries stolen. They've took them overnight. Somebody's two-legged have took them. Yeah, two-legged blackbirds. Once they find your fruit, they'll tell their mates and they will strip them completely. So it's well worth protecting. This cage originally cost me £100. Then I bought some more netting, so that was probably another £80. But for the amount of fruit that I get off these, it's well worth it. We try and garden on a budget and try and make sure that we don't spend too much money, but fruit, as you know, is quite expensive. And I got lots in the freezer, and bar gum, every time we have put meat in the oven or cook anything in the oven, I throw a crumble in, so they don't cost anything. All it costs is the crumble mix. I know everybody says you can make your own, but you still got to buy the ingredients, and the foil trays. But it's nice to know what you're eating and where it's come from. And I just wanted to mention that when you're extracting water from your water butts, try and do it with one that's not connected to others, because the Comfrey can get into the tank and then start sending the water not perfect, if you know what I'm saying. So I try and use a different barrel, which just helps. But as you can see, the summer fruiting raspberries now are forming nicely, and there's a little bit of rain in the wind, which will help things. But let's do a little bit of summer pruning, even though it's still spring as such. But the gooseberries, guzgogs, are forming nicely. These strops do a real good job without damaging anything. Could have done with doing this a little bit earlier, but everything's just started to grow. Anything that I can't get back inside and growing uphill will end up being cut off. And I've got to remember this year to pick this up before it dies away. Some of these bushes are getting quite big now because I want to grow uphill. I'm not worried about getting the goblet method. It's everybody's personal preference. But like I said before, we get so much fruit. From just these few bushes. If I don't cut these off, we'll never get through. We'll lose the odd gooseberry. Like I said earlier, I noticed I've got this dying off here, so we'll find a good bit. Take it right back. That's died for some reason, but that's the one that was connected to it, and it's still okay. But as you know, we've got some replacements. Realistically, I could go another one higher now with these strops, but I might have to put a peg in there and just pull all these over. But this is the red currants. I think the red currants aren't so bad because they haven't got the thorns on them. Try not to cut any berries off. But there's plenty of new shoots in the middle of this. I prune over the winter. And you get lots growing from the bottom. These Slamar gloves really do come in useful. I'll leave that one in there. And that one. I've got these two here. Oh, I felt that one break. Cut that one out. That one there, I'll drop behind one that's full of berries. We all know apple trees need a summer prune, so do grapes. But again, some of these because we look after them so well, they reward us with some nice crops. Right, I'm going to finish that off. I think I'll have to have a look at how much I prune next year. Well, come the autumn. And I do promise, honest, that I will pick all these up, because when I do my weeding, bar gum, it does hurt. But not with these on, it doesn't. Well, that certainly looks better. There's just a couple of things here. This is a gooseberry, and that's where it's been layered, and you can see the log ashes, and they've absolutely loved that. And if you wanted, that could be potted up. And at this time of the year, you're going to start getting aphids. If you see this on the ends of your plants, it's just better off just cutting them off if you want the plant to grow a bit further. It'll always sprout from all the other nodes, but obviously use a nice sharp secateurs. I'm going to finish this off, and then I'm going to clean this up. It's a good thing about doing filming for YouTube. You have to make sure you tidy up after yourselves, so I'm going to do it and prove to you that I have. Well, I've spent another half an hour just doing a little bit more pruning, but it's well worth it. And I forgot to say that those thorns on the gooseberries do stick into your shoes. And if you're wearing flip-flops in the summer, it could get quite painful, but those gloves are certainly the business. I'll leave the link in the description below. I was a little bit more cautious with pruning the white currants, because last year we hardly had any, so at least I know now what I did wrong with the white currants, but that doesn't mean to say I can't be really harsh on the black, red and gooseberries. And of course, with the summer fruiting raspberries, that does its own thing. And you should be able to see quite clearly there all the new green growth, and the brown. The brown is what we're getting the fruit off this year. So it's easily sorted. So once they're fruited, we'll cut all the brown out, leaving all the green, so we get an abundance next year. I should be able to pick these gooseberries now a lot easier than what I have been able to in the past with this method. It won't be long before I'm shutting the door and locking it up. It doesn't keep the blackbirds out, but it keeps those other unscrupulous people trying to pinch other people's crops. And those have now had a really good test. I've used them to mix my homemade compost, and now handling those gooseberries, I'll be using them to help harvest by moving the branches out the way. So highly recommend this glove. If you've enjoyed the content, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for the interaction, and leave me a comment on what you do, how you do things, because that will help me, that will help my viewers in making us better fruit growers. A little bit late with everything this year, I am, but I think I've done the summer fruiting just in time, and we'll look after these, because some of these will be replacing some of those in there that are getting a little bit out of hand. They've been in there for 10 years. Sometimes you don't know whether you're doing right from wrong, but I've got 2 of everything, so I can quite easily, if something goes wrong, I'm not without any fruit. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. to half an hour as it starts to rain again. It isn't very often we say we like a little drop of rain, but we all would like it at night time. Right, let's get indoors. Let's do a rain dance. Hey, come on, rain. We love rain. La la la, la la la. I think that's enough. Oh dear me. It's Sunday the 25th of May 2025. Well, that worked. Don't forget the end screens.